The lady joined with us on the line right now, a big Trump supporter. She is running as a Republican for District 3, and, of course, the primary, June 9th. So her name is Mindy Robinson, and she's nice enough to take some time to join us on the show. Mindy, thanks for being here. How are you?
What's up, Mindy?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on. So I guess the first question I would ask you is this. What made you decide? Now, I know you've had a movie career. You've done reality TV. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about that and your background. But what made you decide to run for office and get into politics?
Well, my background is I went to college for political science and American history, even though I ended up doing, the Range 15 and all those fun movies and stuff. I've just been commenting on politics for a while, and then the election happened, and I was able to kind of do that on my page with humor because the news can be depressing and be explanative.
Very true.
And it just kind of took off from there. So I just started commenting on politics, mostly calling out inconsistencies, hypocrisy on both sides, to be fair, left and right. My side is bad, too, and apparently I'm the only one that calls that out. And so I was at CPAC, and I travel a lot, but I'm in District 3. I live in Southern Highlands, and I saw the race that was going on, and I couldn't believe, I feel like the GOP in Nevada dropped the ball. It's a Trump voting district. We have a Democrat that voted for impeachment. So that kind of went against all our wishes right there. And she's anti-gun and a few other things. So I just think she needs to be replaced and kind of represent the people that live here a little bit better. And I didn't like the other candidates that were running for my side. So I just jumped in about March.
Fair enough. All right, let's dive into it. Let's talk about what you stand for, some of the issues. Okay, so you brought up guns. So let's talk a little bit about that. As you know, and I have no problem with people that have guns so long as they're responsible, they're not felons. At the same time, we have a lot of gun violence in this country. As you know, there's been a ton of mass shootings. So my question, I guess, is a lot of Republicans want to brag about what grade they have from the NRA. But my question is, what is the NRA doing to stop some of these mass shootings? And my question to you would be, what do you think we need to do to end the casualties and some of these mass shootings, like you said, 58 people, 59 people that died on October 1?
We have to understand, if you're going to be a maniac and you want to murder people, you're going to find a way. You could easily go to Home Depot and make a homemade bomb, like the Boston Marathoners, and just take out a lot of people that way. I don't think getting rid of guns stops violence. It does, however, take away my ability to defend myself if something were to happen. So that's the issue with gun laws. If you put more restrictive gun laws it only affects people like me that are trying to do the right thing. It'll never affect the felon that's already broken the law and all that stuff. So, I feel like even if there were no guns, you would still have instances. I mean, there's a lot of guns in this country.
No, I get it, but I have to interject and say, no, I get what you're saying, but I have to interject. You mentioned the Boston bombing, and make no mistake about it, one person dying is too many, but 3 people died. 59 people died in Las Vegas at the hands of someone who was able to buy, and you're right, a maniac. They'll find a way to kill people, but I'm not sure any easier than grabbing an assault weapon. Those weapons, many of these weapons were designed to kill as many people as possible. I'm sure you would agree on that. I don't want to take your rights away from buying guns, but I think and again, this is just my opinion, I think it's dangerous to have people are going to kill people anyway, so let's not do anything to help prevent these things from happening. So you don't have any solutions that you could think of how we can end some of these mass shootings? And your response is, people are going to...
There's a mental health issue. When you look at what happened in Parkland, that kid was very messed up in the head.
I agree.
It was an issue. Why did no one do anything about it? It's enabling when you don't want to discipline a kid because it looks bad for your school and stuff like that.
I agree.
You have to fix the behavior, not the mode.
Mindy, I agree with you. So would you be okay with red flag laws then that could help prevent some of these people from...
I can't be okay with red flag laws. As a person is like me, I speak politically. I have a lot of enemies, especially on the left. It should take more than a phone call to have people come in and take my weapons from me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Fair. Okay, so let's go with that for a second. Let me ask you, because this is a question I ask people that are against red flag laws. Let's just say that your next door neighbor's married to a husband. The husband threatens her life, says, when I come home, I'm going to kill you. Okay? She has a recording of it. She calls the police. He possibly gets arrested. He's released in a few hours. You're okay with that guy buying a gun?
No, I don't know the laws in Nevada, but when something like that happened to me in California, when you have a TRO on someone, they have to relinquish their weapons. That's a restraining order, and that's something you do if you have a credible threat of violence on you. So that is a red flag law. That's just something that happens. And I actually don't know the details of what would happen if that happened here, but that's usually what happens.
Okay. I mean, and not to belabor the point, you talked about mental illness. some of these red flag laws would prevent the mentally ill from buying weapons. So when you say we need to do something about mental illness, how do we stop those people from buying guns if you're not for red flag laws?
How do we decide who's mentally ill or not? What scale are we going by?
Well, how about if somebody threatens somebody's life and says they want to shoot up a school, for example? Or what if someone
that's a credible threat of violence. That's when you get a restraining order. That's something completely different.
But restraining orders take time. You can't necessarily get a restraining order right away. You need a judge.
You can get an emergency TRO really
but
quickly.
It's very difficult, and as you know, in not every case you can get one of those. And that's why I'm trying to understand what your solution is to all the gun violence. I mean, when we were in high school, Mindy, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but when I was in high school, I'm 40 years old. We had Columbine when I was in college, but we weren't having these types of mass shootings left and right. I'm sure you would agree with that. So why are we having so many of them now? And I'm just trying to figure out what the solutions are.
I mean, haven't we always had some kind of violence, or is it just blown up on the media? I mean, I went to an Aggie in high school. Kids brought guns to school because they were going hunting afterwards. We had to have a gun on the property in case an animal went down like a horse. I think it has to do with the culture, where you are at that moment. And I think there's a reason why cities with strict gun laws have the worst gun violence. Why? You think twice about mugging someone in Dallas if you think they're going to defend themselves with a concealed carry. So, obviously there has to be a balance, but guns protect more people than they will ever hurt. I believe that.
All right, fair enough. We can agree to disagree on that. But let's move on.
Do you think guns kill more people than they protect?
Do I think guns kill more people than they protect? Probably not. But here's what I will say to that. I think there are certain guns that should not be on the market. There are certain guns out there that were designed to kill as many people as possible, mass casualties. I think if a police officer is not carrying an AR-15, then I don't necessarily think that a citizen should be carrying weapons like that. I think there are certain types of...
Have you ever shot an AR-15?
Yes, I have, Mindy. Yes, I have.
And most weapons are semi-automatic, and it's actually really hard to get.
So let me ask you a question. Would you have rather Paddock walked into a crowd with a knife or an AR-15? Would you have rather Paddock walked in there with an AR-15 or a pistol? What would have killed more people on October 1? Well, it's a simple – you can laugh, but it's a simple question.
No,
I'm asking you a very direct question.
Last time I checked, Timothy McVeigh killed a lot more people than that with a U-Haul truck and fertilizer.
You're absolutely right. But that's
crazy things. I want my right to defend myself.
I understand,
that's my right under the Constitution, so there it should stay.
I understand, but I asked you a very specific question, and you didn't answer it. Would you have rather had Paddock carry a pistol or a knife or an AR-15 out of his window? I mean, what would you have rather have seen that would have killed more people?
See how ridiculous that knife out his window.
Not ridiculous. Well, a knife out the window, I misspoke. But what would you rather have him had an AR-15 or a pistol?
I don't speak in. Think about it. You can just make up any story to defend.
No, I'm not making up a story. It's about specific guns that are designed to kill.
Someone to have no weapon. No weapon is better than a knife.
Well,
obviously, gun is not as bad. You see where you're going with this?
Obviously,
it's a bad comparison.
I don't think it's a bad comparison. With all due respect, assault weapons and these types of guns are made for one reason: to kill as many people as possible. Well, I just gave you an example, and you're not answering the question. Would you have rather Paddock outside of his window shooting with a pistol or an AR-15? But listen, we'll move on. Obviously, you don't want to answer that question, and it's fine. I respect your opinion. We'll move on.
That's a ridiculous question.
I don't think it's ridiculous at all. I think
Paddock never have done that at all.
Listen,
I mean,
you're
if you
a
want
candidate.
to speak in made up scenarios, if you have to make up scenarios to prove a point, it's pretty bad.
Okay, well, listen, I think we can move on, but if you're going to say what I'm asking you is ridiculous, that's where I have a problem with that. You're running for Congress. I'm asking you very basic questions about certain types of weapons, and with all due respect, it's not ridiculous.
I would always prefer a criminal have less of a weapon than he started off with. I think
that's an obviosity, and I think anybody running for office would answer that the way you did. I mean, you're speaking in obviosities right now, but we're going to move on now. Let's move on to another subject. Okay. Let's talk about, I mean, I'm not laughing. Listen, 59 people died in Las Vegas. I would hope you would agree with me. We want the least amount of innocent people dead.
You know what I would really like is what happened with Route 91, because it was obviously a pretty big cover-up. We never get answers out of that.
What do you mean it was a big? What do you mean it was a big cover-up? Where are you getting that information from?
Okay,
and what do you mean?
Why did he shoot those people? Why? Why were there so many indiscrepancies with the scene?
Okay.
Why did he shoot? You know, I mean, I don't want to get into Route 91 because there's so many things that don't add up. I don't think Nevada really got the right answers.
Okay, well, what do you think happened then? I mean, you brought up the conspiracy. What do you think happened?
I don't know if we'll ever get the truth of what happened.
So you don't know what happened. You just don't trust the police. Is that what you're saying?
I trust the police. I don't maybe not trust the feds that went in there. There's a lot of things do you agree that there are a lot of things that do not add up about Route 91 that we didn't get the answers for?
No, I disagree with you.
I would actually agree with that. I think that you could make the case that that Paddock was possibly an arms dealer, and it could have been an arms deal gone bad, considering the circumstance.
No evidence of that. I'm not going to put up conspiracy theories when there's no evidence to back it up. I think it was a deranged man that had mental problems. Clearly, he has mental illness in his family. He wanted to kill as many innocent people as possible. Now, you can talk about the police response. I'll agree with you on that. I don't think the response was very, very good. If you want to talk about a cover-up, I think they were certainly hiding the fact that the response wasn't very good. But to think that maybe there were other people involved or the FBI, I'm just not going to go there. But
Brian,
let's move on.
how did he get an armory up into his room, though, with no one seeing him?
I've talked with Mindy for 15 minutes about guns, which is fine, but we don't have that much more time, Mindy. So let's try to move on to some other subjects.
Mindy, we want you for a 3-hour interview on Friday.
No, we're not going to do that. That would be torture. That would be torture for her. We don't want to do that. So, Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you went on social media and you said that people at Planned Parenthood should go to hell. I don't want to misquote you. Is that what you said, and why did you say that?
Well, what was the tweet I was quoting? What was it under?
Well, you tell me. I'm just asking you. What was
I don't have my entire Twitter memorized. If you're going to quote me on a tweet, you should probably know what it was attached to.
Okay, well, all I have is that sentence. So if I'm misquoting you,
well, I can't help you. I have no idea what is in contact for. It could have been. I mean, there's some nasty things that are online. There was a video of a girl bragging and laughing about having an abortion. I'd tell her to go to hell. I mean, you have to have context.
So you would tell somebody. Hold on a second. So somebody legally has an abortion, and you would tell them to go to hell?
Well, I think they're going to hell. She was laughing and having fun and made a funny video, and at the end it shows a baby being, yeah.
Was that on TikTok?
I know you may find it hard, but yeah, some people are offended at the idea of murdering the unborn. Sorry.
Okay, but according to the law, it's not murder when you have an abortion. Roe versus Wade. So why would you?
I did a movie about it.
Okay, so why would you?
It's based off a woman's privacy to health. It has nothing to do with what should have been done, which is when we become citizens protected under the Constitution.
I understand you're pro-life, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But my question to you is, why would you call somebody a murderer who is abiding the law? The law says they're not a murderer. Why would you call somebody a murderer? That's a very serious accusation to call somebody. And by the way, are you okay with a 13 or 14-year-old girl that is raped?
And you just find the worst-case scenario to back up abortion.
No.
You really can't back up abortion.
Okay, well, I'll back it up, but, you say worst case and you want to throw that out the window. I think that's ridiculous. There are women out there that are victims.
You don't get to kill 100,000 babies.
Okay, I'm asking you. Okay, we'll get to that, but let me ask you a very specific question. And by the way, it's not, in my opinion, it's not murder, so I disagree with your accusation there.
Murder, and I'm not alone in that idea.
All right, well, that's fine.
I mean, Brian,
but let me go back to what I just said.
You did take an outlier to justify everything else.
Let me just go back to what I just said.
Total outlier.
What do you do in a situation, Mindy, where a teenage girl is brutally raped, God forbid? Do you think the government should force her to have that baby?
No, she should see a doctor. She should get antiviral. She should get therapy. She should get a lot of things. And there is a pill that is birth control, not an abortion pill. For 3 days, you can take it just to make sure nothing happens. And she should be on antivirals and a lot of other things, too, to keep her safe. She doesn't have to have the baby because she's raped. There are things you can do right afterwards.
Okay. But in your personal opinion, what do you think that child should do?
I just told you. She should go to the doctors
take
and make
antiviral.
Sure she can be as safe as possible. Yeah, antivirals make sure she doesn't get HIV. She should get STD testing. She's going to need therapy. She's going to need counseling. And there is a birth control pill you can take up to 3 days. If a condom breaks, if there's a rape, anything you can take to prevent
she's saying that
embryo from forming.
Yeah, she's saying that the woman will not actually end up having the baby because of that 3-day pill.
Okay. I mean, my question, I guess, again, stands. I respect your opinion if you're pro-life, but, if you're pro-life, why not be consistent with that? For example, when the baby is born, there are many Republicans out there that want to cut welfare. They want to cut food stamps. I think if you're going to be pro-life, why not continue that pro-life after the baby is born and support mothers that are struggling financially?
First
so
off,
Republicans,
if you didn't want a child, there's a long list of people that want infants. I know people on that list. It takes years and a lot of money. There's all these unwanted infants there are homes for. Also, we gladly subsidize the care of children all the time with welfare, with WIC, with food stamps, with all the available programs that are out there because, at the end of the day, even if you have crappy parents, the children shouldn't suffer. We've always helped to take care of those kids. No one really think of all the food programs, all that other stuff. Why do Democrats always like, oh, they're better off dead than eating government cheese? I do not understand that argument.
Is there a prominent Democrat that's ever been on the record as saying that?
I argue with Democrats all the time. They say these bet. I will show you the tweets. They're awful. They say these
well, there might be some lunatics. I mean, there might be.
And I don't understand.
I don't doubt. There's probably there's lunatics on both sides of the aisle. I don't doubt that somebody said that to you. I'm just saying when you say Democrats, some people might think a politician might have said that.
Do we not take care of these children? Are these children better off eating, food stamps? I mean, I lived pretty working class myself. Aren't they better off like that? Eating government cheese or whatever they got to do, the WIC or anything like that, then dead. I mean, the alternative thing is death and no life.
Well, I think
they deserve a chance.
Okay, well, I think that's up to the parent. I don't think that's up to you.
Well,
I think it's
up to the parent whether their killed their kid or not. No.
Well, your opinion is you're killing.
Mother soon after it's born, you don't get to just
your
kill
opinion.
It it's dependent on you.
Listen. I think if an abortion is done within 4 months and it's done in a respectful way.
Okay, well, I'm going to disagree with you. I think it's murder. It's got a heartbeat.
Okay, well,
it's moving. It's murder.
Okay, well, we can move on to another subject. Here's the deal, Mindy. You can think it's murder, but the law says it's not murder, and I abide by the law. You can think what you want. I go by the law.
There's some funny laws in the Middle East that you could stone people to death for the silliest things. Does that make it okay?
This isn't the Middle East, so that's a ridiculous analogy, and that's an embarrassing analogy. We are not the Middle East. They don't let women. They wear burqas. Excuse me. They wear burqas, and women aren't even allowed to show their face. And you're comparing that to this. That is. I'm sorry. That is just an ignorant. That's very ignorant.
She's comparing laws.
Yeah. Okay. So let's compare Saudi Arabia to America. That makes a lot of sense, Mindy. All right. Let's move on now.
Well, you like to change.
Okay.
I like how every time you start getting over.
You just brought up, Mindy, with all due respect, you just brought up the Middle East and stoning people to abortion. Not me. That's ignorant. Let's move on.
It's
all right.
To say a law can be immoral. It can be not right.
Well, listen.
And you want to change that law.
Brian, she brought it up
murderers.
because you said that she doesn't disagree or that she doesn't agree with it, and you said, but it's the law. So she said, well, there's a lot of laws on an international basis that people don't agree with, that you may not agree with, but it's still a law.
Wrong. She's calling. She didn't say she didn't say she disagreed with it. She called women murderers. That's what she said. That's what I'm criticizing her on. Well, you can laugh. That's what she said.
I'm a murderer too.
Okay. Right. So a woman. So a woman who has an abortion is the same as a man that goes into your home and shoots and kills you. Okay, let's move on to the next subject now.
Comparisons I have ever
No, that's what a murderer is, Mindy. Mindy, with all due respect, that's what a murderer is. A murderer is someone who intentionally tries to kill you. That's what murder is. A woman who has an abortion is not a murderer. I disagree. All right, we're going to disagree on that. All right, that's fine. On May 8th, you tweeted out, as far as, reopening Nevada, you said, quote, "This is getting stupid. Just open up the state back up." What did you mean by that? Did you mean the entire state and the Strip should open up now? Is that what you think?
Did you see? Do you understand you're just giving tweets with no context? The context.
Nope, I read the context. I'll give you. I read the. Excuse me. I read the context.
There were too many rules. You could open up your restaurant, but you got to be 6 feet away. You got to do this. You got to do that. It could only be.
It's called social distancing. Have you heard of it?
To open up and be, make.
So you don't believe in social distancing?
You don't let me answer. You got to what? Come on.
You said I didn't. No, the reason why I'm interrupting you. Excuse me. The reason why I'm in. Excuse me. Right now, the reason why I'm interrupting you is because you made a claim that is not true. I did read the context of the tweet, and underneath it, there were the rules, the social distancing rules. I did read the context of it, okay? I read the context of some of your tweets, okay? Some of your tweets are absolutely asinine and ridiculous, okay? Now, I'm asking you a very specific question because you're running for office. Do you think the entire state should open up tomorrow? Do you think the Strip should open up? How about answering a question directly for once in this interview?
I do think that the people that want to open their businesses and the people that want to go out should be able to go out and do those things, yes. If they have a compromised immune system, if they're nervous about it, they are welcome to stay home and do what they need.
So do you believe the Strip should open?
Freedom means if a mom-and-pop store wants to open up their thing and try to salvage what's left of their business, then I think that's their right to do that as Americans.
I agree with you, but you're still not answering my question. Do you want the entire state to open, including casinos in the Strip right now? You talked about small business. A casino isn't a small business. You're talking about mom and pop. A mom and pop business, with all due respect, is not the Cosmopolitan.
There are some small casinos, Brian.
Do you think that the big
there's quite a few casinos in Nevada that have under 500 employees?
Fair enough. I'm not asking her that. Do you think that the Strip should open up tomorrow and everything should open up? Yes or no?
I think the people that want to open up should be allowed to open up without gigantic regulations that are going to ruin their business anyway.
Okay, so no social distancing. You think?
I don't know why this is a hard concept.
No, it's not. Okay, this has nothing to do with freedom. It has everything to do with health. No, it's not. It has everything to do with health and safety.
You don't think freedom's a good word?
And with all due respect, you're telling me that you think the Vegas Golden Knights should be able to hold hockey games right now. And if the Vegas Golden Knights, hold on, JD, the Vegas Golden Knights want to have hockey games, they should allow 20,000 people in there without social distancing. That's what you're saying, Mindy. You're saying it's up to the businesses, not the health experts.
No, we just don't do anything and stay in our houses for a year?
I didn't say that. That's an extreme.
That is the plan.
Okay.
In our houses till 2022.
That is not what I said. That is a complete extreme.
With Fauci talking to us every day for 3 hours.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous what she just said.
You know what's ridiculous is that people who this economic crisis doesn't affect want to stay home forever, and they don't care about the people.
Nobody is saying, excuse me, let me interject again. Nobody is saying they should stay home forever. I don't know where you're getting that from. Nobody is saying they should stay home for a year. I don't know where you're getting that from. You just said all businesses, business owners should have the right to do what they want. So what you are saying is that we can have 20,000. Excuse me. Then you know what? You're a Trump supporter. Hold on. You're a Trump supporter.
And they're allowed to do that. But
Mindy, you're a Trump supporter. You're going against Trump.
They're going to be liable if people get sick. They have to weigh that in.
You're a Trump supporter.
It's going to be worth it for them to do those things.
You are a Trump supporter, and you're going against Trump's own guidelines. Trump's own guidelines are saying that we should be practicing social distancing, okay? If you put 20,000 people in an arena right now, if Mindy Robinson is elected, she's going to push for the Vegas Golden Knights having hockey games tomorrow, and that is ridiculous.
You don't understand that allowing people the freedom to do what they want and
it's not about freedom. It's about health and safety. Get it through your head.
I'm not demanding everyone do everything. What is wrong with you? I saw your Twitter.
What is wrong with me?
And I saw you call people like me idiots.
Well, yes, I think you are an idiot. Yes, I think you are.
All over your Twitter feed.
Yes, I think you are. You just said. Okay, listen, if you want to go to personal insults, if you want to, listen, okay, thank you. Yeah, you don't know anything about me, quite frankly. You don't know my voting rights. I'll tell you right now, I ain't voting for you, okay? So if you want to label me a lefty because I won't vote for you because you're a lunatic, that's fine. If you want to insult me and you want me to insult you, it's not going to do anybody any good. I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
You insulted me and my
people. Oh, right, and you've never, and you don't insult anybody. You attack Democrats and liberals and Obama on a daily basis. You call people names. You said that Planned Parenthood people should go to hell. Okay. You also called the governor a liar with no proof to back that up. There are rally.
It was not isolated extremists.
So people with guns and camouflage trying to break into your house isn't an extremist?
That's a true statement.
So yes, he's a liar.
All right. So let me go with that.
I'll agree with that.
Okay. Well, what a shocker, JD. You'll agree with that.
What do you mean? What a shocker, Brian?
Mindy, let me ask you this then: people that are dressed up as G.I. Joe with AR-15s. That are trying to break into Steve Sisolak's house on the record.
We're not breaking in.
Oh, really? Then why did they bring up the SWAT team? Then why did they bring up the SWAT team for?
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? Why did they bring up the SWAT team? All right, Mindy, we're going to.
It's their job to do.
All right. All right, Mindy, listen, I wish you luck.
Rallies. They've been very nice. There were no issues.
All right, Mindy. We're up against a hard break.
As good conservatives do.
All right. I wish you luck, Mindy. Unfortunately, we're up against a hard break, so I have to go. Thank you for not answering all my questions, but I do appreciate you taking the time to go on.
A single answer.
No, I listen. Trust me, I listen to all of them. You are actually more of a nut than I thought you were. Have a nice day. Have a nice day, Mindy.